day like for you and this football team getting a win?
It was explosive. Obviously, we wanted to start fast. It was something that we had to point of emphasis back to the basics after last week. I think we just wanted to come out and be us. It was a big thing of just being us and falling in the trap of, what's in front of us or what's behind us. Being us was crucial, and he had a hell of a day. He's a good quarterback. He's starting to come along, as you can see. He looks sharp out there. I'm just excited for the future and just want to keep building off. I look forward to going to work tomorrow, watching the things that I could have done better. I kind of already know. I was a little hard on myself about it. I try to have a perfect day, but, things aren't perfect. But I'm super excited for what's to come.
Foxborough Rush on a Monday after the Patriots earned their first home win of this young season, first home win under Mike Vrabel, and they do it with a statement win. A lot of points put on the board in that one yesterday. Annabelle Hasselbeck Jade McCarthy here with you for the next hour to break it all down. And look, it was a 42-13 domination of the Carolina Panthers, AB. A lot of positives. I can understand why Steph Diggs was like, yeah, I'm excited to go to work tomorrow. I think they all would be after a win like that.
Hey, they were all excited. And just looking at Steph Diggs in that press conference, his style is way cooler than you or I, Jade. We will not reach that level of swag. Okay. Came out with the fit. I was like, he had a bag when he walked into the presser too. I was like, all right, like they are feeling themselves. But yeah, huge win for the Patriots, headed in the right direction and really controlled the game. And like you said, a win at home. That's what this team was struggling to do. And a really a huge margin for that win, 42 points, right? I think that was their largest win since 2022, which is absolutely wild. So got the win at home at Gillette. The fans are definitely happy about it.
Yeah, great to get the win at home. Great to be sitting there at 500, heading into the month of October and not feel like you're behind the eight ball a little bit. And of course, two teams in the AFC East still to play later tonight on Monday Night Football. We'll talk about that one as both the Jets and the Dolphins are still trying to find their first win of this season. But let's dive into this one and what it means for the Patriots and where they sort of go from here, what they did well. Wow, kicking game. Wow, punt return game. Special teams. I was thinking about you, AB, as I was sitting there watching this one with all the special teams and the way just the way that inspired the team, right? I mean, that felt like what really got things going out there, against the Carolina Panthers after they marched down the field on the opening drive and scored, of course, missing the extra point. But then all of a sudden it was like, special teams, here we come. And that certainly woke everybody up in Foxborough, got the Patriots going, and Mike Vrabel spoke about the significance of all those yards and the points, of course, by Jones. Take a listen.
I talked about that throughout training camp and how those return units need to be, a weapon for us. We're still, we've got the one kickoff return, but, to be able to do that on the punt return, fantastic effort by Marcus and everybody else out there. But I think a lot of that was, just his own individual will, skill, and effort. And so, again, that has to be a weapon. It was something that we felt like could be through this season and getting ready for this year.
Mike, what is it about Marcus that makes his skill set so superior?
Well, I think he's, he's not the biggest player, but he's got great play strength, I think, with the football in his hand. He's got great vision. And again, you have to be, fearless at some level to catch that punt and know that you're going to make the first guy miss. And we're confident in that. And, I think you kind of it's just a natural skill. That's hard to teach. It's hard to teach with all those bodies and traffic and catching it first and making great decisions with it back there. So it's a lot of comfort with him back there, and we need to continue to make it a weapon.
I love it. Vrabel uses the word fearless. Marcus Jones used the word ruthless. I'm kind of ruthless back there. Look, it all added up to some big numbers for him and, for the Patriots to really just kind of get going in this one. 167 punt return yards by Marcus Jones out there. And look, I think, you heard Vrabel reference it, right? I mean, you do have to be fearless or ruthless or whatever word you want to use. You're sitting there, you're waiting for the ball. Everyone is just barreling down towards you. If you're not, most people I know are just going to, turn around and cower and want to go the other way, AB. I mean, that is no easy feat. And for him to have the vision that he did and see the field the way he did and take off and rack up the yards that he did, it is a significant advantage for the Patriots.
Huge advantage. And just putting the touchdown aside, right? Like in the momentum the spark that gave the Patriots, the field position that he was able to put them in throughout the entire game. I think he had like a 19-yard return, maybe a 17 or 19-yard return later in the game. And it was like, that wasn't that great. That's a pretty great return, and because of his other ones, it didn't seem as significant. And I think what's great too to hear is just how the team wants to block for him and how excited they get. I think every guy post game who was asked about Jones and really that touchdown return, they all lit up and they all smiled. Like it really energized this team and was the turning point in this game that they did have that slow start, but the Patriots didn't allow it to leak into the second quarter. They kept it and were able to make a change in the first quarter. But what an exciting play. And you see when the Patriots are able to score and capitalize on special teams returns, they usually win the game, and we're only a couple games in the season, but we're looking at the common denominator here. Definitely something that Vrabel hopes to continue.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, capitalized on special teams. They played turnover-free football. We talked so much about that coming off of last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just the need to go out there and play 60 minutes of sound, fundamental football. And that's certainly something that we saw this team do. There's always room for improvement, but, like Vrabel said, coming off of Miami, it's one of those things where you can coach them hard after a day like that because they are feeling good. They're energized by the day that Marcus Jones had. They're also energized by the day that this offense had and that their quarterback, Drake Maye, had, right? And Vrabel talked about that as well. Just the ability that this offense has to find the open guy down the field, to spread the ball around and to get things moving because of the various options that Drake Maye has.
Just throw to the guy that's open in the progression as soon as he's open. And then if not, quickly progress through. Those are the things that quarterbacks have to do, and they have to have a command of it, and we did that. And I think the red zone clearly is a big factor. Our ability to convert those chances into touchdowns was important. I saw a lot of extra effort, guys blocking downfield, springing guys. And again, I like when everybody is involved and the quarterback just throws to the guy that's open every play, no matter who it is.
Hey, Mike, big game obviously from Stephon Diggs. Was that an emphasis this week, a matchup you guys saw, or just where the ball was going?
No, that's just where the ball is going. And Steph and everybody's done a nice job. And if we continue just to believe in the quarterback that he's going to throw it to the guy who's open in the progression, that good things will happen. And we get down there in the red zone and everybody's going to score. We got plenty of plays down there. And if everybody just stays the course and does the right things and does all the things that helps the team, that those plays are going to come for them in the red zone. It's just like the defensive line. They want sacks and they want all this. But, Barmore's disrupting the quarterback and is getting holding calls. And I know I don't want him to be frustrated, but I see those things. Pop Douglas would have liked to have had a couple extra catches today, but he also turned and blocked, and Hunter Henry ran down the sidelines. And nobody's going to say that unless I say it. And so those are the things that matter, not the guy catching a touchdown. That's the easy part. The hard part's the guy that didn't get the ball thrown to him, that turns immediately and blocks his guy, and we score from the 25-yard line.
It's the truth, right? I mean, there's plenty of teams around the National Football League having some conversations about that on this Monday, and we'll talk a little bit about that coming up. But the reality is that Drake Maye, 5 different guys found the end zone in Foxborough yesterday. They were 4 for 4 in the red zone. These are the things that add up, right? And you look at Drake Maye's final line, 14-17, over 200 yards, the 2 tutties, and then 1 rushing as well. So that's the kind of day at the office that he wants to have. It's the kind of day at the office that everybody in this organization wants him to have. And he talked about it after, just sort of being the best version of himself out there. Let's hear from the quarterback.
Yeah, just proud of him. Proud of him for what we what we put on tape last week was not what we want to do and who we want to be. I thought those guys, we established the run early. We had some different scheme kind of plays that kind of give the defense some misdirection that I thought we hit right on the head, and that turned into explosive plays. So just proud of the guys. Just kept on fighting, and I thought we were good situational. I should have hit Booty on the first third down, missed him behind him, so we could have been even better, and there's still stuff to work on, but proud of those guys, and start with the guys up front and just keep going.
Drake, is this kind of the best version of yourself, like kind of taking what the defense gives you, moving the ball around, managing the football? Like, is this who you project to be and who you want to be moving forward?
Yeah, sure. I sure hope so. If it leads to wins, that's what I'm trying to, become, and the quarterback I'm trying to become. I've tried to do it, kind of just, my whole career kind of spread it around and give it to the guys that they can make plays. And, I think everybody's got some, chance in our team, our skill guys to make the defense, give them a problem. And I think we got guys on the team that are great with the football in their hands and just trying to do my best job of getting to them quick and don't hold it.
Look, you gotta like the ability to spread it around, to beat teams different ways. I mean, that's why you're working towards this. And we saw Drake Maye get everybody involved. The run game was involved yesterday. We saw Hunter Henry obviously involved in this game. And we saw Steph Diggs have his biggest game as a New England Patriot. So there were a lot of positives in this one. I think I also just like the notion of how this team is building that unity together, right? Like you saw Hunter Henry go grab the ball after Travion found the end zone, his first career touchdown, in the National Football League in a regular season game, of course. But Hunter Henry just having the wherewithal to be like, yeah, look, like that's a big moment and he should have the ball. Like, I'm going to go grab it. So, I can give it to him after the game and he can keep it, right? Like, that's a significant moment. And that's what you want to see. You want to see it working on the field. You want to see them being willing to throw the blocks for each other. Like, we heard Vrabel talk about, it's not like just the guy who catches the ball. It's not just the guy who finds his way into the end zone. It's every other guy that is making that an ability and a possibility because they're throwing the blocks or, they're running the route that's catching attention or whatever the case may be. So just to see the unity and the way that this team is building and growing together, I think that is hugely significant, AB.
Definitely. And I think the Patriots are very glad that they showed a completely different team than what they showed against the Steelers. Like Drake Maye was like, that's not us. We're glad we were able to, give a different showing and really value the identity of what this football team is built on. And if there was ever a game for Drake Maye to pull out one of these and do the Cam Newton Superman,
awesome.
That was the game. It was awesome. And I love what you talked about just about Hunter Henry grabbing the ball for Travion Henderson. This is really a team that is coming together. And I think a lot of the success as well in the passing game specifically, we heard Josh McDaniels talk earlier this week headed into the game. Hey, Drake just needs to hit the guys that are open. We're not looking for him really to force it to anyone. And that's where you're seeing with the spread around offense and all those different guys making explosive plays downfield, which we really hadn't seen that many explosive plays so far this season for the Patriots. So that was awesome. But I think it also adds a level of danger too to this offense and the weapons that they do have, because now we're in week 4 and we just now saw Stephon Diggs have a breakout game. And so I think it's a huge step for the Patriots. You're seeing these glimpses of crazy potential that this team has. I think the key is now, how do you be consistent and how do you stack games like that and not have to put out fires like you did last week with the turnovers?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, consistency, I think, is the biggest thing that I feel like we're going to be talking about all week long, because obviously you want to see what they're able to do next week, primetime, Sunday Night Football, divisional game against one of the 2 teams that doesn't have an L this season. And of course, that would be, taking on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But let's talk a little bit about Steph Diggs and let's, hear more from him. But 6 for 101 yards, great to see him, break that triple-digit threshold out there. Didn't find the end zone, but look, five Patriots did. So his time is coming. I don't think anyone is doubting that or questioning that. And he's got that style that neither of us have. So we got to hear more from Steph Diggs on the day that he had.
Quarterback finding an open man, O-line blocking really well. Receivers getting open. I'm not by myself out there, so I'm just trying to do my job. I kind of stressed that over the past couple of weeks, and since I've been talking to y'all since like training camp, as far as like just doing my job, I think it's going to turn. It's always going to turn. The tide will turn, and after the past couple of weeks, I think just blocking and doing the extra stuff and doing the little things always open up for you. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of guys that can make a lot of explosive plays, as you can see today. The running backs play their tails off, and then even the tight ends always hooping. So I feel like just being a receiver out there, it's a lot of weapons out there, and me doing my job is enough. So that's all it was. Team football, good complementary football. A lot of short fields too because of Marcus. Shout out to Marcus.
Stefan up here. Talked about, or you've talked about eating what's on your plate, making sure you don't leave any crumbs.
Exactly.
What did your plate look like after this one?
I left something out there. That one now I probably could have came back and tried to catch the ball, trying to get on the same page. It's that game inside the game. The things that you see, the things that you got to react fast, and being available for the quarterback. So, and when I say eating what's on my plate, it's not just like routes and stuff like that. I had a play where I lined up wrong early on. I had to get up lined up late. So, it's everything that ties into it. So I try to play a perfect game so I can be the example, so I can be a leader. So when it comes down to getting open, catch the ball, they pay me to do that. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm going to continue to do so. So I'm super excited. I look forward to getting back to work. After the game, that's the only thing that's been on my mind is getting back to work tomorrow. Correcting little things. As long as it's not effort and finish, I'm confident.
Oh, he's preaching Mike Vrabel's message there, right? As long as it's not effort and finish, gotta have those things. Those are the very, very basics, the foundational pieces that we've heard Vrabel lay out, since he became the head coach of this franchise. So for Steph Diggs, look, he had gone 22 games without breaking that 100-yard threshold. So that feels good for him to do that and get out there and just kind of like get it behind him. Right? I mean, you come off of a big injury like that. You got to work your way back in. That's no easy task in and of itself. You're learning a new offense here in New England. You're working with a young quarterback, a young offensive line. Like there's a lot of different moving pieces to this. And it just has to feel like a little bit of all right, check, done. Like got that behind me. Let's keep working here.
It has to. And that's in the back of his mind, right? Because he's used to being the wide receiver one. He's used to being the guy that you're talking about. And that's not what he's dealt with really earlier this season. But I think, like he said, post game, like you can't cheat the process is what he said. And it's really been this patience. And I think the Patriots and even Steph Diggs can be really proud in how he handled that patience, like doing his job blocking, make sure he's pouring into the younger players in his wide receiver room. And his time will come, right? Because the consistency and practicing those reps perfectly, whether you get the ball or not, it's still adding up to perfect practice, right? And you really saw in this game against Carolina the chemistry and the connection that Drake Maye and Stefon Diggs already have. So it's going to be really, I think, exciting and fun to see the explosive plays that they're able to make. And even in those third down and fourth down moments, that Drake Maye is going to have even more confidence in him than he already has.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they're all building blocks, right? I mean, that's what this month has been for the Patriots. And that's why, off the very top, I was like, look, like you're now going into October sitting there at 500, which are there some wins that you could have had? Yeah, I think the Raiders could have gone either way. I think the Steelers, the Patriots beat themselves, which is something obviously that Mike Vrabel is really trying to get out of that locker room. And otherwise you won 2 games and now you got to try to stack the wins and build off of what you have moving forward into, October and what's still ahead. Of course, defensively for New England, this was the first game for Christian Gonzalez to be out there. We all know what a significant part of this defense he is. He spoke after the game just about getting back out there and getting in the mix.
And anything can be a little challenging. We're not doing it for a long time, but at the end of the day, I've done this since I was 5 years old. So, kind of my mindset going into the game today was not really think of how long it's been and like that. Just it's another football game. Just go out there, be my 5-year-old self, and go out there and just have fun, have that joy of just being back on the field.
So that's how that went.
Christian, following that up a little bit, how long in your mind is it going to take you? Even the best players coming back the way you have are going to need time to get up to speed, so to speak, in terms of being game shape, game action. How long do you think it's going to take you in terms of in games to get to back to where you are able to play the way you want to play?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to just give a straight answer to that. I mean, I just got to get back, watch the film, and just take it week by week, day by day, and just make the plays that come my way. Be on the field for the defense, be on the field for the team, and just do what I got to do.
It's always a process, right? To get back out there, come back, obviously missed a lot of time. It was the end of July, I think the 26th, when he went down with that hamstring injury and has worked his way back to it. But look, defensively, the Patriots really had a day yesterday. We saw Carolina, go in and march down the field on their first possession. So there was a slow start, if you will, but then they missed the extra point and, the punt return game gets going, obviously, and the Patriots defense really held them from there on out, AB.
Yeah, it's an awesome defensive game for the Patriots. And yes, you're going up against the Carolina Panthers, but like a win is a win. And strong defensive play is awesome. And I think specifically for Christian Gonzalez, like get your feet wet, get going, at home. Now you have a huge test in the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. All eyes will be on you. Like for an athlete coming off of any injury when you have extended time, regardless of how serious it was physically and how healthy you've been since the injury, like feeling ready to go, there is still that huge mental side of it of, like Christian Gonzalez was saying, like play with joy, play free. I've been playing this game for, since I was so little, right? Like that is a huge obstacle. And it's what he decided to talk about in this post-game press conference. Like, yeah, I'm good. Like I've been conditioned is what he said earlier in the week. Someone asked him about like, how will you be ready to go? He's like, basically alludes to the fact that he's going to be in shape. And yes, game shape is a thing, but it's really that mental hurdle of, am I where I need to be? And I think just a great break the ice game for Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, and I love how, you brought it back to him saying, look, I've been doing this since I was 5, right? Since I was a little kid. And I think, that ability to tap into that joy and what brought you into football to begin with and to still be able to play with that freedom, I think is so significant because I think that's when you see athletes go out there and play their best games. When they have that sense of freeness about it and they can just roll with it. And the fact that he's able to walk in and have a game like that, in his first game back after missing the first 3 of the season, I think is hugely significant for this whole team, certainly for this defense, but really for this whole team, because I think it speaks volumes about where they are and the unity and what they're building as an entire team together, AB.
Definitely. And the Patriots haven't had him until just now, right? You think about just starting the season off without one of your best players, like the impact that that's going to have not only on the X's and O's of the game, but just like you said, the team morale. Okay, like here we go. We're building, right? That is something you knew they weren't going to be perfect come week 1, week 2. It's a constant. Can you stack wins? Can you improve the things that you didn't in the last week? And I think it's going to be a huge step for the Patriots to have Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. All right. So there's always some room for improvement, right? Some things that we want to look at as we move forward. And of course, to me, a big part of that is, well, what's next and what's on tap for the Patriots. So we'll get into that as we continue here on Foxborough Rush. Plus, it is Monday, so, we got to throw some overreactions out and see if we agree or disagree with them. And 2 games on tap tonight, so much more ahead as we continue on a Monday afternoon right here on Foxborough Rush. Foxborough Rush coming back at you on a Monday after a big win for the New England Patriots. And look, I understand this is the Carolina Panthers. We do know that 2 of the last 3 seasons, this is a team that has finished with the worst record in the National Football League. But look, a win is a win is a win. This is a team that also shut out shut out the Atlanta Falcons, a week before. So you have to keep that in mind. And AB, as I said to you, for me, looking forward, a lot of this is how do you take this and how do you build upon it and how do you show some consistency? But before we go to the needs improvement section of the report card, let's give out some gold stars, if you will. So who are your A's of the game this week? Lead us off.
Love giving out some gold stars, Jade. I think my first A of the game would have to just be this running back room, right? This was a game that we were all thinking, how are they going to show up? No turnovers, 100% ball security, drastically improving from last week and really put out the fire that was against the Steelers. And I think in times when you have to show up, that's what this running back group did. Henderson with his first touchdown, that was an awesome moment. Gibson, and we really saw this group be a true committee, right? Like we really did see a presence from all of them. Yes, Ramondre still led the way, but you did see a heavier presence from Travion and Antonio Gibson. And I think the cool part about that specifically is that Ramondre was still a major factor in this game. And when adversity strikes, some teams choose to handle it differently. The Patriots leaned into Ramondre and they were like, no, we need you. We value you. You're still starting for this team. And so I think just to see how well they ran the ball effectively as a group and just the cohesion that they have and encouraging each other. I think it was maybe Ramondre who said, there's no ego in this group, but we're all have healthy competition. It's really cool to see. So got to give it to the running back group for this week.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Gold star from me as well there. And I thought, you saw Ramondre like rip off that 22-yard run. And I just thought yes, confidence builder. So good, to see that for him. And he did lead the way. I was looking at the numbers in terms of carries, for the backs. And we all had so much emphasis on this, of course, going into the game because of the way it went against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was so curious to see how they would divvy up the carries. And he had 9 for 38 yards. Travion had 7 for 32 yards in the touchdown. And then Antonio Gibson 6 for 27 in the touchdown as well. So it really was, spread the wealth in terms of how they were going to approach this. I thought it was really, all in all, it was such a positive day for this group. I think not just finding the end zone, but obviously first and foremost with the ball security. I think, gold star all around. I think with the way it was handled going into the game and then, the way it was executed during the course of the game. So we're certainly in agreement there. I fear we might be in agreement on a couple of these, but let's go for the next A. Goes to whom?
Yeah, this is an A+++++, whatever you want to give him. Marcus Jones, just the momentum shift and the game changer for this game. The punt touchdown return. And like I said earlier in the show, he had another return that was only 19 yards and we were kind of all like, oh, that was it? Really, he could have taken the second one back too. Right. And so I think just stepping up for this team, and you heard Vrabel say really, yes, it was the guys who were blocking for them and, we're working as a special teams unit. That's what we were taught, hoping to do this season. But he had that will. It was that individual will. So I got to give it to him because you got to come out. I mean, it looked like he was down early on in that initial play, in that touchdown return. And so I think you just look at the Patriots and what they're able to do and win when they have special teams plays like that. Got to give it to Marcus Jones. Breaking records, too, for the Patriots. Awesome day for him.
Yeah. I saw earlier today that their linebacker, Jack Gibbons, who's on that punt return unit, said of Marcus, he's slippery, right? And he said he was surrounded, but the reality is they're all having fun blocking a guy like him who's I'm a little ruthless back there, or a little fearless, to use the word that Vrabel used. And I do think that those are the moments that a team can build off of, and those are the personalities, right? That guys want to play for, that they want to throw it all on the line for and say, what's he going to bring? What's he going to do? And I think we saw that repeatedly yesterday. I mean, you don't rack up 167 yards as a punt returner in just any game in this league. It is hard to do. And it's a distinct advantage for the Patriots if they can get him going and have special teams continue to be a place that they can take advantage of other teams. And I think they're going to find other ways to do this, right? I mean, we saw Travion Henderson in the preseason, of course, with the run back. So there's different ways that I think this team is going to build upon this and use it to their advantage going up against some other teams. So definitely gold star for Marcus Jones from both of us here. Round out the A's for us here, would you, AB?
Yeah, I got to give it to our guy that was dripped out post game, Stephon Diggs. Just the big plays. Like, this is the game that we were waiting for from him. And I think it was really cool to see his connection with Drake Maye. The one play that he came back to the ball and kind of did one of those tiptoe, let the guy go. Almost could have had a touchdown too on that long explosive play. But first 100-yard game. And I think just for him, like you said earlier, weight off your shoulders. He's not presenting that obviously publicly. He's saying, I got to be better in certain ways. I think he even pointed out later in that press conference, there was a time when I didn't line up perfectly. Eating what's on my plate isn't just having catches downfield and kind of being the guy of the game. It's all those little things. So I've been really impressed with his leadership for this team, his ability to be patient and not kind of have a drama moment like you might see some other wide receivers around the league having if the ball isn't coming to them. He has really trusted this process and let Drake Maye do what he's being told. Hey, don't force it to him. Just pass it to the open guy. And I think that's what's going to lead to long-term success and allowing teams to maybe be preparing for a Kayshon Boutte, a Hunter Henry, and then opening up opportunities for Steph Diggs.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's hear more of from Diggs with that, lovely post-game drip that he was rocking.
5 out of 10. Take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, having success it's week to week. You know what I'm saying? It's been a slow ramp up or build up that I didn't even notice through these past 4 weeks. So coming out of the quarter of the season, the first quarter, 2-2 is not bad. Could it be better? Yes. So for me, I just take it with a grain of salt. Being comfortable is, I guess it's a state of mind because I still got to study. I still got to flip the pages. I still got to grind. So being comfortable in the offense is you making your coach comfortable. You making plays, you getting open, you showing that you know what to do on a consistent basis, and you making plays for your quarterback. I think it helps everybody out. So for me, I just say 5 out of 10 because you never want to get too comfortable.
Never want to get too comfortable. You got to keep putting the work in, flipping the pages, doing the study, as he says, watching the film, all those things. But look, I think I would also say that he's clearly a leader on this team. He was brought here to be a leader on this team. And when you go out there and you go into the 100+ territory, that makes your job easier. It just does. Because some of that leading, you got to do with your play. You can't just stand there and talk in the locker room and not be the guy that delivers on the field. So I think, there's some relief there because he knows that he's here to be a leader. And he has to go out there and have games like that to really be the type of leader who he wants to be. And help Drake Maye grow into the quarterback that I think Steph Diggs believes he can be. So look, gold star there. I would also give one to the quarterback in Drake Maye. The game that he had, we've now seen him really string together some good consecutive games. And look, there was obviously some ball security issues against the Steelers, but he still was finding ways to move the ball down the field, and that was a positive for him. You look at some of his numbers yesterday, and we can throw this up and share it with you, but what he was able to accomplish, puts him in elite company here in New England. And of course, Tom Brady was a quarterback for a very long time here, but Drake, in doing what he did, 75+ completion percentage, thrown 2+ touchdown passes in each of the last 3 games. Only Brady did that with a longer such streak in a single season in NFL history. So look, this guy's a kid, right? He's in his sophomore season. It's his first season under Josh McDaniels. And for him to start with that consistency and starting to see it for a couple weeks in a row, that's a gold star in my book, AB.
It really is. And you've heard Diggs, like you said, talk about the progression of his young quarterback. And Diggs has been around the league. He's played with some really talented quarterbacks. And so it's cool, I think, too, for Patriots ownership and front office to see, hey, we brought this, blue chip wide receiver in. He's coming off a major injury. And he already, after having, a probably conservative game plan with him, has had a connection with our young quarterback, right? And so it's really great for the growth in the future of this organization.
All right, let's get to some needs improvement. This was one of those games where they did a lot well. So to me, part of that needs improvement requires looking forward, right? Because I did mention this is against the Carolina Panthers. It's not like you went out there and won, 42-13 against the Kansas City Chiefs, against the Philadelphia Eagles, against, that team that you're playing Sunday night on primetime, the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, so I want to see the consistency, and that's probably like my biggest thing in the needs improvement category, AB, is I want to see them be able to string consistent games together, play turnover-free football, play, let's take advantage of bad football, or let's just make sure that we're not beating ourselves because we're not playing good football. That tops my list on the needs improvement. And that's just a whole team approach, right? Like, how are you going to approach it? And then how are you going to go there and execute upon it?
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to look forward is what's the next step, right? Because it feels nitpicky to really point out the bad spots of this game because it was such a dominant and controlled game by the Patriots. I think if you were to pick anything, you could, circle out that slow start for both the offense and the defense. But even Vrabel said, you know what, if it takes having a slower start on defense to figure out how to play the rest of the game, then like that's a trade-off he was willing to take, get through those growing pains is what he called it. And so I think as much as that's a need improvement, like really we're looking at the broader picture for the Patriots. I guess one thing that was kind of funny to me is I think it was on Marcus Jones' touchdown return, punt return. Milton Williams took out, it was a little friendly fire, took out one of his own teammates. And initially I didn't know who it was. Milton Williams was asked about it. He was down. It was actually pretty bad. I had to go back and rewatch it a few times. I was like, please tell me that was not a Patriot player, right? But Milton Williams was asked about it after the game, and he had a funny response. Someone said, "Oh, that was Woodson or whatever," and he was like, "No, like I asked him," and he was like, "No, like it wasn't me. That is Woodson being a great teammate. You're just defending it. Don't worry about it, my guy. You're a great teammate." In fact, it was his own Patriot teammate. Yeah. So maybe we just eliminate the friendly fire. You saw what happened in the Chiefs game with Travis Kelce, right? Like, you don't want that situation to happen. Thankfully, there was no serious injury here, but kind of a funny moment because everyone's okay. You can look back and laugh at it. But really good that we're here on this Monday talking about what's next for the Patriots and not having to harp on 5 turnovers or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think if you look at what's next, it's significant that there are some winnable games on the schedule looking forward for the next, for the next 5 for the Patriots, right? I mean, you certainly have to go at Buffalo. That's a huge game. Obviously, it's prime time. Everybody's watching. What are you going to bring up to Buffalo? Tough place to play. 4-0 Bills team. But then look, you go to New Orleans. You go to Tennessee, you host Cleveland and you host Atlanta. So if I'm sitting there and you're not going to get to, I know it's one game at a time and that's the message, certainly internally. But look, there are some winnable football games coming the Patriots' way, through October. So stack the wins, go out there and play sound, consistent football for 60 minutes. And I would put this team in there with the chance to go out there and really find ways to earn some W's. All right. Overreaction Monday. Yep. That is on deck. So we're going to get to that as we continue here on Foxborough Rush. Plus, I mentioned 2 AFC East teams still with a game ahead tonight. We'll talk about those 2 games as well. Stick around. It's a Monday. Annabelle Hasselbeck Jade McCarthy hanging with you on Foxborough Rush. It's a Monday during NFL season. What more could be better than some overreactions? I did mention some wide receivers around the league and maybe some frustration coming from some of them, perhaps. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles go down to Tampa Bay, hand the Bucs their first loss of the season. The game didn't disappoint. I mean, this game looked like the Eagles were going to run away with it, and I was sort of sitting there looking at my kids. My husband's from Philly, and they were like, "Oh, this is going to be easy." And I went, "No, the Bucs start slow. They're going to find their way back," and they did. But the Eagles still managed to hand them the L. And then AJ Brown had a bit of a cryptic post on social media, quoting a Bible verse here from Mark 6. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. 2 catches for 7 yards in the game. Second game of the season, he was under 10 yards. He's got like 13, 14 catches on the season. Puka Nacua, like just for comparison purposes with the Rams, he had 13 catches yesterday. So look, I can understand why maybe AJ is a little bit like, hey, can I get a little bit more involved in the offense? He wants to be traded. Overreaction or no?
You know what? His frustration is definitely real, right? Like, definitely not the production that he wants to have, and clearly going to Twitter to post about it in a Bible verse way. Not exactly sure if that's the exact context relating it to the football situation, but he's a star player, right? He knows his value for this team. I think the way to look at it is to handle it like Stephon Diggs has handled it with the Patriots, like we were just talking about. Like, this actually is going to make your incredible team that could very well go back to the Super Bowl even more dangerous, because you have not even unlocked a massive part of your passing offense with himself and even the wide receivers there. And so I think, it's a tough situation to see players speaking out like that. Will he get traded? No. Absolutely not. I do not see that happening. And frustration is real when you're playing at the highest level. And hopefully he's able to put it in perspective of his team is still winning. And he is still being a huge contribution to that success.
Yeah. I mean, he said after winning the Super Bowl, he was like, I gotta go out and get me another one of these. Just this didn't do it for me. His best chance of doing that is with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's with the team that he is on. So I mean, overreaction. I do not think he wants to be traded. I just think he wants the ball more. And I think the Eagles are going to find a way. Like, that offense still feels a little off to me this year. But they're 4-0. So it's like, look, you're 4-0. You're still figuring it out. Good place to be. Good place to be. All right, how about this one for you? We saw the Steelers, go over and hand a loss to the Minnesota Vikings in the first NFL game in Ireland. They are legit Super Bowl contenders. What do you say?
That's got to be from someone from Pittsburgh, okay? That overreaction definitely came from someone there. But listen, it is a little too early, I would think, to say that. I think you're still in this, like, okay, what is Aaron Rodgers going to be for this team? But really, they squeezed out the win against the Vikings this week. And really probably shouldn't have beaten the Patriots. Patriots really did that to themselves the following week. And so you're seeing DK and Rodgers have some, spots of greatness, but I think it's too early to call them Super Bowl contenders. But if people in Pittsburgh want to think that, I'm all for team spirit and supporting the home team.
Support the home team. Support the black and gold. I mean, look, have we looked around the AFC, by the way? I mean, just throwing it out there, right? I mean, you got the Chiefs who got back on the winning side of things. You got the Bills who are sitting there at 4-0. You got the Chargers who got a loss, but still are looking pretty good, if you look at their season as a whole so far. So slow the roll, just slow the roll a little bit. Okay, so it is, of course, the Giants who handed the Chargers their first loss of the season. They will finish with a winning record after moving to Jackson Dart at quarterback.
Listen, the Giants looked good, and you're coming off a week where you make a quarterback change, and sometimes that can crumble teams, and other times that can really ignite a fire within a team, and that's kind of what it did for the Giants. You beat one of the best teams in football. You put a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert. not good news about Malik Neighbors. Like, that's definitely a concern that could affect whether they have a winning record or not. I think I'm going to say no because it's a little too much to overcome the Lions, the Packers, the Eagles. And I did the math. I think you'd have to win like 9 games. So that's a lot in putting, especially on a rookie quarterback. So Giants look great last week, but definitely don't know if they'll have the winning record that they think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's just you're still in a hole, right? Like, you're still sitting there at 1-3, and now you're going to have to go do it without Malik Neighbors, which makes life even harder for Jackson Dart. So I would agree. I just think that's an overreaction. All right, how about Daniel Jones? Is he now going to revert and play the way he did when he was with the Giants after Indy suffers their first loss yesterday?
This overreaction has to stem from people just dwelling on his past career in New York, and rightfully so, right? Like, that wasn't maybe the Daniel Jones that we're seeing now here in Indiana, but I think the Colts will remain playing really strong, and it was a close game. And I think the broadcast said that Matthew Stafford had like 49 game-winning drives under his belt. Like, this is a quarterback that is used to winning, whereas Daniel Jones, this is a shocking season that the Colts have had so far. So I think they'll remain good. They had 2 major errors that could have, quite literally changed the entire game. So no, I'm not too worried about the Colts. I think it was a close game, and Daniel Jones will continue to have a different career in Indiana, really, than he had in New York.
Yeah, come on. Like, he's earning that Indiana Jones nickname. He still threw for like 250 or something. Like, he had a good game out there. It really wasn't on him. I mean, like, hello.
People are coming after him, Jade.
Over
They're coming
the
after
goal
him.
line and drop the ball before you're in the end zone. Come on. Like, that's not on the quarterback. No way. That's an overreaction about Daniel Jones.
I have like secondhand embarrassment about those type of plays. They spook me. They spook me. And I've never scored a touchdown like that or had that play happen to me. But that is a play that I think about, like, really haunts me.
Yeah.
And I'm not even close to the team.
I lay there and I'm like, oh, like trying to fall asleep, and it's in my head, and I'm like, oh, I feel for this kid. I feel for this kid because I can't even imagine, what he's thinking of. Okay, so the Ravens, of course, they're struggling. I mean, we knew someone was going to be 1-3, either them or the Chiefs, coming out of this game. And it's Lamar, who gets hurt in this game, questions as to what he's going to look like moving forward here. And it's the Ravens that, now sit there at 1-3, only the 3rd time in franchise history that they are off to a 1-3 start. So they will miss the playoffs. Overreaction?
It's definitely a surprise, the season so far that the Ravens have had. I think it's an overreaction because of the talent of this team, and we know what Lamar Jackson can do. And I think, yes, he was pulled out of that game because of a hammy, but thankfully you play the Texans next week, so maybe it'll give him another area to rest. But yeah, definitely concerning with how the other teams in the AFC are doing. There are 9 teams in their conference that are doing better than them and have a better record. But as we know, the beginning of the season doesn't determine what happens at the end. So I think they'll find a way to get back. It's a very talented team, and they always seem to have trouble against the Chiefs. So not too worried about the Ravens missing the playoffs.
Yeah, look, they started 0-2 last year. So are they in the position that they wanted to find themselves in? No, but we're not there yet. I mean, we're flipping the calendar to October, but we're not there yet. And I wouldn't say it's time to count them out. All right, we'll talk a little Monday Night Football as we wrap things up right here on Foxborough Rush. Stick around. We're back right after this. Oh, it's a doubleheader on Monday Night Football tonight. I can't even really call it a doubleheader because the games are not back to back. They're almost simultaneous. But the Jets and the Dolphins kick off first, of course. 2 0-win teams try to find their way out of the cellar of the AFC East. And then following that, it is Cincinnati and Denver. Of course, Jake Browning quarterbacking for the Bengals in this one. Are you more excited for one of these games than the other one? What are your thoughts going into Monday Night Football Week 4 here?
I think I'm just happy that we have 2. Truthfully, like usually I'm like, oh man, I love when like Monday night can be one game. Like I get super excited about it. I can draw all my attention and focus in it, go to bed immediately after, right? Like just focus on one game.
Yeah.
The two games, actually kind of appreciate the two games, right? This isn't NFL royalty matchup between either of these, and you don't quite have the same storylines. But you know what? You get two. So we'll take it this Monday night.
You know what I'm rooting for? I'm rooting for neither of them to end in a tie. That's what I am rooting for. I mean, that game last night, first of all, the end of it was a total track meet, and you're sitting there just like, can't miss a play and watching these catches. And then, you watch like Micah Parsons, like all of a sudden, like drag Dak down before he reaches the end zone, for the Cowboys to go ahead in this one. And then you watch the Packers and just the horrific clock management at the end of overtime. They almost didn't they had a second left to kick it to tie the game.
So lucky.
And then it ends. And I was like, gosh, that was, why am I awake? Like nobody even won.
Jade, I think it left a lot of fans just like confused. That's not satisfying, like you said, in any way. There is no way that we could have that wild of a right. There's no way that you could have that wild of a game and a storyline. And the camera pans to Jerry Jones, and he's celebrating after the touchdown. And he's like, "I got my revenge. I don't need Micah Parsons," And then they come back, and it's so back and forth, like you said. And to have that ending was just like you're left. This doesn't add up to be in the National Football League. It kind of reminds me of when you read this book series your whole life, and you're so invested in a book series, and you're just waiting for the movie to come out. You're just waiting for the movie to come out, and the movie just is not what the book was. And that's kind of what this ending felt like in the tie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, and like I don't know, like the 10-minute overtime, it feels like it needs to be longer. Like I know they want to keep things moving, and I totally get you got to give both teams the ball because obviously the way things ended in Kansas City when Josh Allen never got to touch the ball a couple years ago. I get all of that. But this just doesn't feel like it either. Like I feel like it's like, can we go back to the drawing board and figure out what it is? Because this ain't it.
No. And that's why you do like rec soccer when you're growing up, and everybody gets a trophy and it's participation points, right? Like this is the National Football League. This is the regular season that helps to get you to the postseason. I'm not in it for the ties. No fans are in it for the ties. The players are certainly not in it for the ties. Micah Parsons was definitely upset about that. The Cowboys are probably like, whew, cleared that one on the schedule. Hopefully we'll see a change at some point here in the league.
Yeah. No ties tonight on Monday Night Football, please. And thank you in advance. And come on, Jerry Jones, you can't celebrate a tie. You can't celebrate a tie. Oh my gosh. We'll see you Wednesday, guys.